Hey yo, good garments, we back at you. You heard I like what Polo been doing with this running line they got. It's fire. You heard? This jacket is fire. Bleecker Street joint reminding me of that 92 stadium action. You heard? But yeah, man, I'm liking what Polo doing with this running series they got. Know what I mean? I might have to pick up a garment or two. Take a garment or two off their hands. You heard? But yo, yeah, man, let me know out there, man. Is this new Polo running series good garments or what, man?
Or be here forever, how the story begun.
No matter what they do,
Ayo, type in Ty Phoenix on all streaming platforms.
they call the chosen a few, doing exactly what we came to do.
Make sure y'all check that music.
They can never stop us.
Broadcasted live from New York City. It's the hottest channel on these YouTube streets. The best jail stories and hood stories are here. Make sure you subscribe today. LAZ.
And he was like, you know what, you're right. Boom. We started kind of like putting it away. We was kind of getting ready to walk away, and this dumbass in his truck is like, that shit probably ain't real anyway, pussy. I ain't no way, nothing I can say no more. I was just like, damn. He turned around and just started letting it go. Boom, 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 boom.
You said that was your man?
That was my brother. Like I said, that was family. Like he was part of, like when I said we had signed our own oath, and if any brother should snitch on another brother, it'd be punishable by death and all this other shit. And he had signatures and all that. Like he was the leader of like that shit. Like he was the oldest. You know what I'm saying? By the time I met him when I was 14, he had already done state bid. He had been so involved in the streets already. He was a lunatic. He was crazy. But I was with him one day. And he used to always tell me there was a time and a place for everything, right? So I'm with him one day. He got a Chrome 38. And we had robbed this one kid that lived around the corner from him in CI like twice already. And for some raw. And we were driving past his house and we shot his house up too, right? We shot his house up one night when he was coming back with groceries. I wasn't really trying to hit him. We was just scaring him. But it was funny because all the grocery bags went up in the air and shit. He hit the ground. Shit was funny. So whatever, we driving past his house, and I was kind of leaning out the passenger seat with just my fingers. I ain't have a gun in my hand. I just looked at him like, what's up? And he must have lost it for a second. He had this chrome shotgun, and he jumped in his little pickup truck. So we swing around the block, and we get in front of my man's house, but we're parked like vertically across the street, right? So nobody can get past us. So he comes up the block. That's why it's hard to explain, but say from where we are by my man's house, say 150 feet or 250 feet up is a stop sign, and that's the block that boy was on that he came from and came up with his shotgun in his truck. So he got the shotgun pointed at the window as now. We in broad daylight. It's like 2 PM, and my son got the 38 pointed at him, and me and the other kid Tattoo, we there, and we telling him like, yo Nitty, it's 2 PM. Like, you always telling me there's a time and a place. Like, your neighbor's outside right now. Like, be easy. And he actually listened for a minute. He was like, you know what? You're right. Boom. We started kind of like putting it away. We was kind of getting ready to walk away, and this dumbass in his truck is like, that shit probably ain't real anyway, pussy. I ain't no way, nothing I can say no more. I was just like, damn. He turned around, just started letting it go. Boom, 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 boom. He lets like 4. By the time the second one was out, son was already in reverse. Peeling off, going in reverse down the block. He's still letting the other 2 go, right? So now he takes the grip and he ran through the woods. Disappears, right? He's on the run. He's going through the woods to get out the way. So we pulled up in a car. So me and my other man jump in the car. As we getting ready to jump in the car, a car that was coming towards us pulls up, stops, and gets out. And he starts screaming on us like some older man, like, Start throwing rocks at his car and shit. Like, you hit my car with a rock? I'm like, damn. Like, yo, I wasn't no rock, man. I said, go. Like, I advise you just go right now. Like, I wasn't a rock. So we get in the car to leave. This motherfucker followed us like a whole bunch of exits on Sunrise until finally he turned off. He just kept going. But I'm like, this motherfucker gonna follow us the whole way. I thought I was gonna have to get out and whip his ass, like beat up an old man. I'm like 14, 15 at the time. I'm not even supposed to be driving. That's why I thought he was calling the police behind us or some shit. Anyway, we get the car back to my other man's crib. My man made it out safe. I guess his neighbors didn't call the police on him. But, you know, he was official. He was the one that was with me when I told you we was letting the 357 go when son got robbed for them pounds of weed, and we heard them bodies dropping over the fence. I told you I wasn't sure, you know, who got hit where, whatever. But I knew nobody died or nothing. But like, he was a gangster. He was with me and showed me how to be more advanced than I was at that time. Like, he upped my game from when I was 14. I was just doing, you know, regular shit. He stepped my criminality up to a whole nother level, right? Him and my other son. And then other people, you know, that came around that were older that he knew from the area too. You know, everybody played their little part because I was always the youngest out of them, but I was wilding just as much as they was, doing everything they were. That's when I found out, like, I was really good at this shit, that I had a knack for going in and plotting the shit and executing it and all that. Like, you know, I ain't get nervous. That shit was more exciting than nervous to me. Or I never did shit with more than a few people, because it was always a few scenarios in my head that I wasn't okay with. Like, if you can't say, I've known you since the sandbox, Laz, and me and you have done shit together, and we trust each other. We know where each other's temperature's at and how we're gonna react in situations. But then you call me one day and you like, yo, I'm not gonna be there, but my son, he gonna go with you. It's actually his joint. You know, he got like a $50,000 whatever. Like, I'm gonna tell you no, for the simple fact of, I don't know if your man is either a cowboy where he might run up in the shit and just be quick on the trigger and turn a regular robbery to a homicide. I don't know if, God forbid, shit goes left and I do need him to hold me down, if he's gonna jam up and freeze, put my life in danger. Or I'm gonna walk out the door and he might blow my brains out and try to take everything for himself. Or the fourth option, we get jammed up and son don't hold it down. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. It's like, when you're doing shit like that, man, anything can go wrong, and anything can turn one thing into something else that could add forever and a day on. So I was always solidified with only a few people that I would actually bust moves with if I wasn't doing it already by myself. Like, if I needed one or two people to come with me, there was maybe like a handful of people that I trusted, that I grew up with, that we had done shit before. But after that, I would never. I'd been put in a position like that where my brother hit me after coming home, like, yo, somebody he was with, I dubbed the whole shit. Like, nah, I'm good. Doesn't matter how much it is. You just can't, you know, God forbid. You don't want to get put in that position where you think you're going to book somebody and it's going to be fast and simple. And next thing you know, you're walking out with a 25 to life bed hanging over your head. That's not what you want. And that shit can happen in a blink of an eye, man. Something go wrong that fast. Something you miscalculated, a person you didn't expect to be there. Anything.
No matter, and you know, the old saying says, Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will
go wrong. You gotta plan for the unforeseeable if you can. I mean, how easy is it to do that? I mean, there's been times where shit went perfect, like shit that wasn't even supposed to be planned. Like, I'm riding with my man, rest R.I.P. to my son Casper, man. But it was me, my son Casper, and my other man, I'm not gonna say his name, but we was just kicking it, chilling out. Me and Casper grown up since we was in like Little League, and my other son, he's the only person I met at like 17 that I didn't grow up with from younger age that became family to me like anybody else from that era, right? So it's us, and me and son had already done some shit together. All three, I had done shit with them both, but separately, right? But we all together now. And my son Casper gets a phone call out of nowhere. Like, just imagine this. I don't even know to today what the actual cause of it was, but like, somebody did his best friend so dirty that his man gave up everything and didn't even want nothing from it. I don't know if he fucked his mother, his girl, his sister. I don't know what son did. But he did something so heinous that he was willing to give up his whole shit and didn't want nothing out of it. He just wanted it to be done. So he calls him. I had just bought, me and my son, not Casper, the other one that I was with, we was in Spencer's the day before that, and I just bought these two matching the Joker mask from the Heath Ledger joint where he like, why so serious? It was that shit, right? So we had matching masks. So we pull up to son's crib. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and he was supposedly out to dinner with his girl. So we were just waiting for them to come back, but they lived in an apartment, so there was a landlord that lived at the crib. So around 10:45, the lights go out downstairs, so that was a good sign. So like an hour later, it's like 11:45, we see them pull up. So my son cuts on an angle across the street. Me and my other, Casper was driving, me and my other man jump out, and we got the mask on. As soon as they seen us running down on him with the mask on, the dude was like, yo, chill, wait. There's no chill, wait. I already grabbed this girl up, threw in a little fiend real quick, and my man did the same shit to boy and was like, yo, if you do the right thing, nobody gets hurt. Act up, see what happens. She was shook to death, right? She's like, be quiet. The landlord, you don't want to wake him. Now we walking up a staircase, and when we get to the top, it's like a small apartment upstairs, right? It's like you walk right into the kitchen. On the left was a door that was their bedroom, and I guess on the right was whatever else they had going on, but it was like a small apartment, right? But we just walked right into the bedroom, boom. So we come up the stairwell, get into the kitchen, and bust the left. So my man and the kid are in the bedroom, and I'm in the doorway with my arms like you know, in the chokehold around Shorty's neck, but I'm not doing nothing. I just got it there. So son goes to talk. My man snuffs him, bang, drops him. My man's a big boy, drops him to the floor. He's like, get up. He's like, matter of fact, take your chain off. Son takes his chain off. He's like, where's it at? He's like, I don't really got to. My son hits him again, drops him, boom. He's like, yo, I told you, bro, we can do this the easy, the hard way. Not a weapon has been pulled yet. Nothing. The kid goes to speak again, and I just start squeezing on Shorty's neck. Once he heard her, like, he's like, all right, chill. There's a duffel bag in the closet. That's it, bro. Just in the bottom drawer, too. In the bottom drawer, too, he said. So we grabbed the duffel bag. We grabbed the bottom drawer. There was a couple stacks in the bottom drawer and rubber bands. Throw that in the duffel bag. Take both their phones, rip the other phone off the wall, and leave with their cell phones. We walk backwards down the stairs, get my man's truck, and we gone. Boom. We ended up in the duffel bag. Bro, we were in and out in like 7 minutes, right? In 7 minutes, we acquired the chain, which we gave to my son Casper's mom. We went back to his crib, and we gave the chain to his mom. We ended up with like 20 pounds in the duffel bag. And there was over, I think, like 15 to 20 bands in cash. We just split everything up evenly. That was that. 7 minutes, bro. That was one of the fastest and most lucrative licks in that time frame that popped up out of nowhere that I ever had. And that went the smoothest, like not a hiccup. It's all because son wasn't trying to give it up, even when he was getting snuffed. It was once his girl started, once he, you know, his heart started hitting his girl, he gave it up in 2 seconds. All right, chill. I ain't even put that much pressure on, just enough to, that was it. All right, chill, it's in the closet. Or that was one of the fastest and easiest licks I ever did, man. That was lucrative like that. But like I said, man, I might sound like I get hyped up talking about this shit, reliving it, but I'm not trying to promote this shit, man. All that shit, it only takes one time, right? Like, yo, we gotta be right every time when you live in that type of life, and police only gotta be right once. You heard? Like, it's that simple. The odds are against you. They only got to be right once. What if we had left that crib that night and just by chance I made the right and it was police that was turning in and made the right and seen it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just anything that, like you said, you can't plan everything out, bro. There's always some unforeseen shit. Like, I never planned on Boyd calling 911 when I'm trying to book him for a quarter brick. Who the fuck think that's gonna happen? I was wrong. Drug dealers do call the police these days. Apparently. That was another lesson I had to learn the hard way. That's why I only robbed drug dealers my whole life and never robbed a store or burglarized some random house. I figured ain't no drug dealer can call police when they getting their drugs taken. That's not how it works these days. They definitely do. That's why it's worth it to just work hard, leave that street shit alone, stop trying to be Tony Montana, stop trying to fucking, be the fucking thug of all thugs and rob this one and that one, because you're either gonna get yourself shot or you're gonna end up doing 5 to 10 to God knows what, depending on what happens in your situation. If someone gets shot or murdered or whatever, I booked somebody or got into a robbery situation that nobody even got hurt. I mean, granted, I went on a high-speed chase and there were helicopters and I got hit with kidnapping. It was a little bit different than just a regular robbery. But still, like, they smoked my boots for that shit and nobody even got hurt. And I kept trying to tell them that, like, but nobody even got hurt. Well, someone could have got hurt. No, they didn't get hurt because I chose not to hurt them. Not because it was an accident. I chose not to hurt them. That's why I kept trying to have my lawyer, like, advocate. Like, it wasn't just by chance nobody got hurt. I chose for that to not. I could have shot son in the ass instead of taking the car. I was just trying to keep shit quiet. I figured taking the car and spinning the block a couple times would keep shit quiet. He'd give the work and the money up without having to put one in his ass cheek and cause all types of noise. No Diddy, by the way. I realized. But either way, I never ever assumed that someone would call 911 so fast, hide his drugs, and write a whole statement on me, like saying I tried to rob him for fucking 3 Percocets and instead of a quarter brick of raw. Like, that shit never crossed my mind one time that could have even been a possibility. And that's how I played myself, That's why it's better to just stay out the streets, find your hustle legally, figure out what you know what I'm saying, your niche, and put all your energy into that, man. Because I don't know about you, lads, but I don't know one retired robbing, drug dealing gangster that didn't get a ridiculous amount of time in jail or 6 feet under right now, that retired happily with all this money and all this fucking glory. Can you name one?
Hey, yo, what y'all think the dirtiest train station in New York City is? You heard? This is 14th Street over by the L side. I don't know if they the dirtiest train station in New York, but they batting average is super high. You heard? They slugging percentages about 750. You heard? Shit smell like piss and pork skins in here. You heard? But yeah, man, let me know what you think the dirtiest train station in New York City is. Did somebody drop this by mistake? Or did somebody just have an episode? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Hey, yo, and make sure you go to thebloodsaga.com and get that Blood and Betrayal. Make sure you check that new Shrine Being Ransom on all streaming platforms. You heard? On my Spotify playlist, too.
It's never remorse. Timberland boosted ahead of your corpse and sever your core like I'm Freddy with claws.
Type in Shrine B, the Emerald Tablature. That's the name of the EP, you heard? Leave some comments on the songs on YouTube. Tell them Z-Man Suicide Polo with the Ski Man sent you, you heard?